Hi, this is Jonathan Weiner with Maryland China Company, and I'm here with Sherry Matini, and we're going to go over the China painting process, some of the supplies you'll begin to acquire. We have the starter kit, which we spoke about. Sherry's going to go over what supplies she has with her and the steps you take to plan a project and how we get into it. What are some of the things that you bring with you?
You start with maybe first tree brush, which has been given to you by Maryland China as a starter brush. But then, before you know it, you have bags of brushes, which is wonderful to use for different paintings that you do. And then you get one wipeout, but then you're going to end up with 10 different wipeouts.
And all of these have different tip shapes
That's right.
and different flexibility. And you'll kind of figure out which, tools you like using the most and kind of lets you get the effects you want with the paints and the porcelain.
And then, of course, I have this little box with all my little graphite pencil, as you can see there, other items that I use. Then you get, you're going to need a small
little dish for oil or medium.
Mediums, yep. Yes. And then I have the pen work, which is the easiest part to use at the beginning.
So there's different tools that will, besides the brushes, there's different types of pens that allow you to put down really fine lines, whether you're doing an outline before you begin a project or if you're putting words or things that you need to do some fine line work with.
And of course, different spatula or different
the palette knife, right?
And then another palette knife, yes. And then I use this for brush holders when I have already painted. So, and then we have this
different graphite and acetate papers for doing tracing and for putting your designs on the porcelain. So now might be a good time. We'll kind of show them
as we go
what we have in mind for that. Let's say we're going to start with this blank tray item. And this has a lot of good flat decorating area that we can paint on. Sherry brought with her this card, which you can use for inspiration, but basically you're just going to find any piece of artwork that inspires you that you want to do a painting of.
And of course, there are a lot of studies and a lot of books about porcelain paintings that can be provided through Maryland China again to you.
Yeah, so this is a very casual way of doing it, but if you want, you can find on our website, we have a whole section of studies, and you'll find in here different pages that will give you tips for doing the outline. You might be able to trace this if you want to do it with the graphite paper. And then it will give you some examples of the finished product. And in China painting, you put paint on in layers. So there'll be like a base layer that you put down and then you'll add to it to thicken it up. And each of those layers will get fired separately in order to build up the color you want. And you can see that, in this study, they're giving examples of how that progression will take place. We also have some books. There's a pretty big variety. We probably have over 100 different studies and books of different artists that you may want to copy if you like how they do flowers or animals or portraits. There's all kinds of different studies you can get into to learn different techniques. But what we're going to look at today is this flower project. And how did you get this line artwork down on this tray?
Yes, just with graphite pencil. I just basically, you don't have to be a painter to do porcelain painting. And I will repeat that over and over. People think that it's very difficult. No, you can either outline it. And as Jonathan mentioned, you have to go level by level of painting. First the light paint, and then you keep building the pure paint on the porcelain in order to get to the final colors that it's going to be vibrant. Or I just did the outline here, but obviously you can use the tracing paper. Right.
We'll get people all the time that are asking us to blow up copies. We even can do digital decals of outlines of things that you could fire on first. We're trying to just make it easy, and there's no one right way of doing any of this. So you kind of find the technique that works for you as far as what artwork you want to be inspired by, and then how you're going to get it onto the porcelain. So we will take a break for the end of this video, and we'll come back and show you how we mix paints and how you'd start a project like that. So thanks for joining us.